everyone, I am Dr. Sonal Jain from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. In this series of forensic science lectures, we will be talking about various cyber crimes and various computer crimes. What are the different examples of cybercrime or the computer crimes, and various categories in which these cyber crimes have been defined. So, the cyber crimes can be basically divided into three major categories. First one is the cybercrime against persons, then we have cybercrimes against property, and the cybercrimes against government. Cyber harassment is a distinct cybercrime, and that can happen to a person. Various kinds of harassment can and do occur in cyberspace or through the use of cyberspace. The harassment can be on the basis of their gender, where it can be sexual harassment. A person can be harassed on his gender preferences. So, if a person is a male, female or a transgender. The racial harassment which happens to the foreigners in various countries, they can be harassed on the basis of their different ethnicity, or the religious harassments or any other. So, these type of harassments can come into the cybercrime which is directly targeted against persons. Another category is we have the cybercrime which could be against any property. These crimes include computer vandalism, destruction of any other property, either using any network piracy or any other software, email trojan, etc. Transmission of harmful programs, unauthorized trespassing through cyberspace, entering into any other person's cyberspace or any other company's cyberspace, or hacking any big multinational company or any other big work organization cyberspace, and unauthorizing possession of the computer information of different workspaces. The recent example of this type of cybercrime is the hacking of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences computers, where the AIMS system were hacked by a hacker, and it took them a week to normalize each and everything, because in this digitized world everything is being on the computer. All the patient history, all the patient reports were online. Now, the third category is against the government, which is mostly, if we talk about, comes to the cyber terrorism. The growth of internet has shown that the medium of cyberspace is being used by individuals and groups to threaten the international governments, as also to terrorize the citizens of a country. So, the frequently used cybercrimes or the frequently occurring cybercrimes is the unauthorized access to computer systems or networks. In this, the hacker, he won't have access, or he won't have any he can enter into anyone else's computer or network and can take sensitive information, or can make the computers not in use. Theft of information contained in the electronic form. So, whenever a hacker is hacking or is entering into another computer systems or networks, there could be two things which is happening. Either he is controlling and he is not able to access any information, but he can make some changes that the person who is being affected by these crime is not able to access his or her information also. Another is he can take away the sensitive information from those computers. Then is email bombing, where the criminal can send thousands of mails and then crash the computer system of that particular company. Data digging, where the smaller amount of data is being taken by the private parties. The salami attacks include, one of the major example of the salami attack is the person or the cyber criminal, he will take very few amount of money from crores of accounts. So we will not be able to assess that something is happening into our financial accounts. Similarly, he can take very small amount of information from different accounts or different places. In one such case of the salami attacks, the criminal, he took out 50 paisa from crores of accounts, and the person, we as a person, we are not taking into account our money till the that level. So he can earn taking out small amounts from different accounts in the salami attacks. In the DOS attack, a person website is being hacked. The virus and worms attacks through the link. The logic bombs, they usually are the it's kind of a you can say a program which is being written and gets activated by a particular command. That is mostly is done in various IT companies and IT industry. If we talk about the internet time theft, in internet time theft, if that is being defined, if a person is working and in their time of their work hours, they are playing online games or they are doing online shopping, then that comes under the internet time thefts. Theft of the computer systems, webjacking, and physically damaging a computer system, these all comes under the cybercrime activities. So in cybercrime, we have data diddling, we have email fraud, cyber defamation, cyber pornography, cyber terrorism, email spoofing, hacking, phishing, etc. Now let's see the computer piracy. Computer pirates, they steal the intellectual property. They harm our computer by installing viruses or spyware, or allow others to access the files contained on your hard drive beyond those you intend to share. So it comes under the intellectual property rights. The copyright violations, they have civil and criminal remedies. The financial crimes, as we have discussed, they would include the cheating, credit card frauds, money laundering, etc. That financial crime also include stealing away your information even from the ATM machines. There are certain scammers which are being installed in the ATMs, and that copy or that take pictures of your card which you are using, and that also take pictures of what password you are being entering into the ATM machine while accessing your card or while taking out money from the automated machines. So there are lots of financial crimes which are being happening, that might include the taking personal information, taking password or your email ID which you use to access your websites of your different bank accounts, or the criminal might enter into your phone and steal your sensitive information, or he or she might use your wallets or the wallet apps and can transfer money through that. So the financial crimes, they lie in a wide variety of range and can happen using any of the the access of your systems through your online banking or through your credit card frauds or taking picture of your credit cards, etc. Email bombing, it refers to sending a large number of emails to the victim, which result in the victim's email account or mail servers in the crashing, results in the crashing. There was a certain case where a foreigner was residing in Shimla for almost 30 years, and he wanted to avail for a scheme introduced by the housing board to buy land at lower rates. But as he was from a different country and he was a foreigner, so they denied him on this grounds that he was not the citizen of India. So in case to take the revenge, he sent thousands of mails to the housing board and repeatedly kept sending emails till the time their servers crashed. In the cases of data diddling, this is an attack which involves altering raw data just before it is processed by a computer and then changing it back after the processing is completed. One of the victims of data diddling was our electricity boards in India. So the NDMC electricity billing fraud cases that took place in 96 is a typical example of data diddling, where the accounting of electricity bills was given to a private party. The collection of money, computerized accounting, record maintenance and remittance was exclusively left to a private contractor. He misappropriated the huge amounts of funds by manipulating the data files, and he showed less receipt and bank remittance to them, taking money into his account. That comes and falls into the data diddling. Now the cyber pornography, it includes the pornographic websites, magazines produced using computers and the internet to download and transmit pornographic pictures, photos and writing, etc. The photoshopped images in such cases are of such high quality that the persons cannot differentiate whether this particular image is being photoshopped or belong to that particular person. Now the sale of illegal articles, that is also part of cybercrime. If any sale is being happening online of any article which is prohibited by the government, that includes the sale of narcotics, weapons, wildlife. There are certain teeth of elephants or the horns of rhinoceros or the skin of various crocodiles, which is being unofficially or illegally, they are being sold online. By posting information on websites, the auction will happen of these articles on the websites and by simple email communication. This includes the auction sites even in India are believed to be selling cocaine in the name of honey. Then we have the online gambling. There are millions of websites all hosted on servers abroad that offer online gambling, and it is believed that many of these websites are actually funds for money laundering. Intellectual property crimes include the software piracy, the copyright information violation, trademarks violation, theft of computer source code, etc., which example is email spoofing. Now email spoofing is that appears to originate from one source but has been sent from another source. For example, in your email it is showing that this email has come from your bank account or from your wallet, showing the history of your bank account. But as soon as you will open the link, that will take you to different website, or that will transfer some virus, worm or trojan to your computer, and which will take away all your information or delete all your sensitive information. So in email spoofing can be avoided by clicking on such links which does not appear from a genuine website. The forgery is also being done using all the computer tools, where counterfeit currency is being made, postage and revenue stamps are being made. Various sophisticated computers, printers and scanners are being used to make the Aadhaar cards or the passports or any PAN cards using your identity and putting up their photograph and thus stealing your identity, and the crimes are being done in your name. Another important cybercrime is cyber defamation. This occurs when defamation takes place with the help of computer. Someone will publish any defamatory material about you and it will send your email, and he might try to blackmail you using such information. There are certain information which is being in our emails and which can be taken off by this hacker, and that sensitive information can be sent to your friend, to your spouse or to your family, which can result further in the defamation of your character. Harassment, as we have discussed, that goes to the obscenities towards other religion, or it could be gender, race, nationality or the sexual orientation of that particular person. The recent case in a Delhi school where a boy was being harassed about his sexuality and it resulted into the suicide, and the parents of the boys are still struggling for the justice. This type of internet crime can take place often in chat rooms, through news groups, and even through the sending of hate email to the targeted mailing list. And the unsolicited email messages, advertisements can be considered to be forms of internet harassment, where the content is very offensive and is sexual in nature. Now, the hacking in simple terms means an illegal intrusion into a computer system or network. It is also known as cracking. Government websites are the hot targets of the hackers as they get attention and the press coverage. Hackers enjoy the media coverage a lot. Then we have the DOS attack. This is an attack by the criminal who floods the bandwidth of the victim's network or fills his email box with spam mail, depriving him of the services he is entitled to access or provide. Floods the bandwidth of the victim's network, fills his email box with the spam mail and deprives him of the services he can use or provide. He uses a technique called spoofing and buffer overflow. Now, the cyber terrorism includes the terrorist attack on the internet by distributed denial of service attacks, hate websites and hate emails, attacks on sensitive computer networks, etc. Technology savvy terrorists can using 512-bit encryption, which is very difficult or almost impossible to decrypt in such cases. Then we have the software piracy, the theft of software through the illegal copying of genuine programs or the counterfeiting and distribution of the products which intend to pass for the original. The examples of software piracy includes end user copying, as we have discussed the softwares which are being in the market, for example the Microsoft Office, and the people can then make the copies of those softwares and can sell the pirated software in a very cheaper price. The hard disk loading, the counterfeiting and the illegal downloads from the internet. Another major cybercrime is phishing. Acquiring information such as the username, passwords and credit card details by disguising as a trustworthy entity. India is among the top 15 countries which is hosting phishing sites which aims at stealing confidential information such as password and credit card details. Now, cyber stalking is use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk someone, and this term is interchangeably used with online harassment and online abuse. Virus and worm dissemination can infect other legitimate programs by modifying them to include a possibly evolved copy of itself. If you have clicked over a link which appears to be a genuine link, but that is not a genuine link, it contains the link of certain Trojan or virus or worms, and as soon as you press the link, these viruses can spread themselves without the knowledge or permission of the user who has clicked on this link to a potentially large number of programs or many machines. So, even if there is a link has been clicked in a company and it is on an intranet, then it can spread to the whole company. Typical actions of virus are the erasing of files, scrambling of data on a hard disk and causing erratic screen behavior which can halt the PC and they can replicate itself. These viruses or these worms, they have the capability of replicating themselves into machines and different machines. Now, forensic computing, there are certain flaws and risk. It is in its emerging state and the examination of digital evidence is so far different from general forensic science evidences. We have two different attackers, one is internal attacker and one is external attacker. Internal attacker are the internal staff who will breach the trust of organization, and the external tracker are the outside from organization by some personal intention of hired by any internal member to destroy the reputation of that particular organization. In the digital forensic investigation life cycle, we have the digital forensic evidence. The incident happens, then we go for the data collection through the media, then the data which is being collected, that is being examined, the data examination. The data examination is then further information is take out after the data analysis, and then we have to report it, and we have the findings of that particular reporting. So, this is a proper flow of a digital forensic investigation, where the first the collection, then the examination and the analysis and the reporting of that particular data, depending upon which case in particular we are referring to, where whether the computer crime has been used as a tool, or is the incidental to the tool, or it has been a target. So, there are certain cyber forensic principles when dealing with digital evidence. All of the general forensic and procedural principles must be applied that we use in the conventional criminal investigation. They all are being applied to the cyber forensic analysis also. Whenever we seize any digital evidence, actions should be taken not to change that evidence. It should be preserved in whatever form it is being procured from the scene. And whenever it is required or necessary for a person to access original evidence, that should be trained particularly for the purpose. All activity which relate to the seizure, access, storage or transfer of digital evidence should and must be fully documented, preserved and available for the review whenever it is required. Individual who is responsible for all actions taken with respect to digital evidences, whilst the digital evidence is in their possession, he should be made responsible, and he should take responsibility of all the actions which are being conducted and being done. The agency which is responsible for seizing, accessing, storing or transferring the digital evidence is responsible for compliance with these principles. So, in any cybercrime case, whenever any digital evidence is being procured, is being seized, the access of it, the storage of it, the transfer, in which particular condition it should be transferred, that should be maintained and taken care of by the agency who is responsible for seizing or accessing of that particular article. The evidence in its original form should be preserved. If there is a computer which is being targeted, the computer should not be switched off with particular manner by switching off the cable which is providing the electricity should be taken off, and the hard disk, CPU, monitor, everything should be possessed or should be seized by the agency who is taking care of this. The four major steps of forensics, computer forensics, include the identifying, preserving of evidence, analyzing the evidence and then presenting of this evidence in the court of law. At stage 1, investigator firstly has to identify the crime, the place of system along with other tools that were used to commit this crime. At stage 2, he builds the chain of custody and take the evidences. Stage 3, acquires the evidence, need to recover, create its image, duplicate and replicate, and if possible work on the duplicated and replicated images. Stage 4, investigator has to analyze the all evidence through some experts. At stage 5, have to present the evidence to the court of law with original evidences and with the conclusions. Digital forensic investigator become as tool that law enforcement utilizes to follow and take legal action for the cyber criminals. Now, what is the need of computer forensics? We have to produce evidence in the court that can lead to the punishment of the actual, to ensure the integrity of the computer system and to focus on the response to high-tech offences, and started to intertwine what has led to these particular cybercrime. And we also have to make persons aware about each and every cybercrime, what cybercrimes are being happening and what all measures we can take to stop this cybercrime. the more case studies should be taken by the government, because we know from someone's experience. If we know that this particular crime is being happened in our society, in our family, then other person should be more aware and should take steps so that the same crime should not be repeated with other family member or anyone else in the society. So to conclude, today trends of cybercrime, environment and forensic application in digital investigation is rising and they are varying in scale. The major problem with investigator team is to formulate the hypothesis on digital equipment and artifact for making good observation. The hypothesis acceptance is the proof, the quality of investigation to identify, preserving, extracting, interpreting and inferring the appropriate data from the digital evidences which is being collected and to put in relation with the crime. The organizational, administrative and legal circles are well known about the digital evidences, but courts are facing the challenges in general by digital evidence that has been common in both civil and criminal courts. There are drastic increases in digital evidences. Because of that, organizations require being knowledge updates and prepared to face any cybercrime, and that can only be done by awareness. As an outcome, it becomes extremely essential that global, developed and established standards are situate in position to make sure the reliable application of digital forensics around the globe should be maintained. Thank you so much.